Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Edge Sports Network. Hope you guys are doing good. We got another interview, part of our summer series for you guys today. We got Ethan Wright, Princeton men's basketball. Ethan, thanks so much for joining us here on the site today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Great to have you on. I'll start here. I know the off season's been a weird one. How has it kind of looked for you? How have things been, and what's kind of the off season training look like so far? I know you're either back at campus or probably at least getting close here. So how's everything been with you?
It's been pretty hard. I think
Mm-hmm.
as it has for everybody. And I'm from Boston, so we got hit pretty hard with the whole virus.
Mm-hmm.
So
For
things have
sure.
been pretty closed down. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd say day to day, I try to get some weight stuff for my own house. Whatever gyms I can get into. These things are starting to open up a little bit more now.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I got my trainers, working outside.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing pickup on outdoor courts.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty hard, but got to find a way to put in the work every day.
Exactly, exactly. It's good that you're kind of finding some new ways to get the training in, get the work in. I know you're coming off a really strong season this past year. You averaged 7 points a game, 4 rebounds, and assists, shot the ball at 42%. I know one thing that's pretty unique about your game. As a guard here, you're really good on the glass, really good rebounding. So, how do you kind of have that mentality, playing, as a guard, some guy, a guy that might not be the biggest guy on the court at all times, but you still go in, crash the boards, have that mentality. How do you kind of develop that part of your game?
I think it's all mental.
Mm-hmm.
My coach, and most of the coaches I've had have always kind of been, you do whatever you can to stay on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever you can to help the team, whether that's putting it in the basket, getting somebody in the right spot, or getting a rebound.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a guard, if you're a small guy, and you can get anywhere from 5 to 10 rebounds or whatever in the game, that's hugely important.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just about focusing on the little things, and I don't know. Sometimes I get lucky and all my big guys box out, and I just get to go walk in there and grab it. But
Uh-huh.
I'm definitely ready for the ball to come out.
For sure. For sure. I know, you kind of you've provided a spark for Princeton, off the bench many times. I know you played in 26 games, started in 17, but a lot of times, you'll come in and provide that spark. So what's, that mentality like coming off the bench and kind of just, as you mentioned, you do kind of do the small things or anything you can to contribute to the team, but when you're coming off the bench, you kind of have to get in this rhythm quick. So how do you kind of get in that rhythm?
Yeah, it's definitely a whole different ball game coming off the bench.
Hmm.
Your legs get a little cold. You're not as warmed up as you want to be, but I think you just got to go in and just act ready, just feel ready, and just be prepared. It's like I don't know if you're going into it with the mentality that you're gonna do what you need to do, you're gonna get that rebound, the first shot's going in.
Hmm.
I treat it as every game I go in like this is my first minute, so it's like I'm starting right now, like this is my start.
Hmm.
And I'm like this is when I'm coming in, like how can I impact the game in the best way possible. And it's also like now that if I'm coming off the bench, I want to stay in the game for as long as possible. I want
Hmm.
to give my coach a reason to keep me in instead of the guy who was in before me.
Hmm.
And that's not a disrespectful thing at all. It's a very competitive thing, but
Hmm.
um, I think that's kind of what drives you, just playing more and winning.
No doubt about it. And you got a couple years under your belt now of play in college basketball here. Going back to your college decision, what kind of made you choose Princeton? Obviously, athletically, probably a good choice for you, but academically, Ivy League school, you don't really have to say anything about the academics there. Everyone knows it's such a high caliber school in that department, but what kind of led you to Princeton? And I know you mentioned you're from Boston, so obviously New Jersey a little bit of a trip, but what kind of had you set on that school? And did you always plan to go out of state? Did you want to stay in state at any time? How'd your college decision go?
Well, first I based it mostly off of relationships.
Hmm.
Um, I had a really good relationship with a couple of the coaches for a pretty long period of time, probably like 2 years. And then we were in pretty constant contact with the coaches, and they were in contact with my parents.
Hmm.
And then I got to visit the school. I really like the campus; it's beautiful, obviously. And I also had another teammate, Jerome DeRosier.
Mm-hmm.
and he played with me in high school for our AU team, so I
Mm-hmm.
felt comfortable knowing that he was already there. And then I liked the offense. I liked the way they played. I watched their games, and when I came to visit, I loved everything about it. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be right next to my house, but I didn't want to
Yeah.
be too far. So Princeton's kind of a happy medium.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there were a lot of different factors, but I based most of my recruiting on just relationships and what I
Mm-hmm.
thought of the people that I was going to be with for the next 4 years.
That's.
And Princeton
Mm-hmm.
turned out to be the place that I thought would work out the best, and so far it has.
Yeah, I'd say you made a really good choice. I know you kind of touch upon it here. You had a really good high school career, Bay State Conference MVP as a junior and senior. You were ranked 20th in New England in your class by the New England Recruiting Report, and they also ranked you the ninth best player in the state. I know you averaged 26 points, 7 rebounds as a senior. Coming off a senior season like that and just a high school career like that, how that kind of give you the confidence to play at the level that you've been playing at in your college career?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was humbling going to college, and you're used to kind of being a small fish or a big fish in a small pond, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
the guy in high school, and then you get to college, and it's you're with all the guys, so it just drove me to get better. I trusted that I was there for a reason. I deserved to be there. I think half of basketball for me is confidence and being comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
especially being a shooter. You gotta think every shot's going in. You gotta be ready to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And our biggest thing for Princeton basketball is make shots. We always say practice, like, make shots, make shots, make shots. Our coach would
Mm-hmm.
be more mad if you don't shoot it than if you miss it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the mentality that I've had kind of anyway. If I'm open, like, I'm gonna shoot it, and I know it's going in. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's like
Exactly.
that's the kind of high school mentality that I tried to carry to the college
Mm-hmm.
game.
And when you were back in high school, was there anything, once you realized you were going to go play basketball in college, especially Division One, when you were in high school, was there anything that you kind of started to really focus on, like any part of your game that you started to focus on that you were trying to get ready for that college level?
Um, I would say I focused a lot on defense
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, shooting obviously, but I knew I was a good shooter, but I wanted to be a really high level college shooter, and I knew
Mm-hmm.
that was going to take a lot of work. So some of the things I would work on is just like getting different shots in different spaces, a lot of game type stuff, not just shooting stationary shots,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of working in more of like college offenses, so it's more movement and stuff like that. And I also try to surround myself with guys who are going to be in college or playing at a high level as well. So I got
Mm-hmm.
to defend them and play against them, and got used to like that caliber of talent.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think what helped me prepare a little bit, but you never really prepared until you get there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly. I mean, you gotta get that first game under your belt before you really know what you're in for. And I know, in your first year of play here, you get this great experience of playing in a, tournament game against Yale. You got 35 minutes in that game, 7 points, 8 rebounds. That's your first season of play. That's your first taste of that tournament experience, that Ivy League tournament experience too. So for you, I mean, how was that in your first season here? How'd you feel, comfort wise, and what was the atmosphere like in that game?
Oh man, I mean that was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think that game was the most I'd played in a game the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Because we kind of had a bunch of injuries, so my playing was kind of, I was starting at the beginning because everybody was hurt, and then it was fluctuating all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of the year, whatever worked out, but I was starting in the Ivy League semifinal game, and I ended up playing 35 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by that point, I was playing my best. Not bad. I'm playing my best basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really confident. I was really excited. It was definitely nerve-wracking to be out there, but I was just really hoping to win, really trying to win for the seniors and stuff. And it was probably the highest stakes game I've ever been a part of. So I think now that I've gotten to go through that, all you think about is chasing that semifinal game again. You want to get back there. And so I mean, it's changed everything. It's the goal.
For sure, for sure. I know. I mean, you still got plenty of time to, have more experiences like that here in the program. You use that tournament game as kind of a way to, it looked like you kind of used it as a way to propel yourself into this past season, and you had an even better year this year. And now, believe it or not, I mean, you're going to be one of the older guys in this program coming up for this season. So, for you, what are some goals that you have for yourself and for this team? And not only that, but what are you kind of trying to teach these younger guys that are either, in their first year, second year in the program? How are you going to kind of lead them and teach them the ways of Princeton basketball?
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things for me is I want to become a real leader, a true leader, because I've been lucky enough to have 4 seniors in each class, who are good leaders and role models in every sense of the word. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the guy at practice that does every little detail right, and I want to be the guy that the young guys look at and they're like, this dude's not messing up. This dude is on top of his stuff every single day, and he's
Mm-hmm.
always prepared. And I'm a big kind of lead by example guy. I'm not always the most vocal, so that's something I got to work on for sure. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just consistency. I mean, that's the biggest thing in my opinion is just being consistent in your work ethic and the details.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody makes mistakes, especially when you're young. But if you can move past them,
Mm-hmm.
and then do what you need to do the next play,
For
that's
sure.
that's all I could ask for.
It's kind of the best way to look at it right there. And I know, you got plenty of time left here to, have more accomplishments with the team. Certainly going to be interesting to see, what happens this season with everything. Just hopefully playing wise, it's pretty normal. We'll see what happens with schedules and things. But you definitely got time left in the program here. Looking back at your first couple of seasons, what have been some of your favorite memories, on and off the court, just being at Princeton in general, and then just some of your memories on the court too that'll kind of stick with you for the rest of your career.
I mean, we played in some real cool places. I
Mm-hmm.
think this year I think we were the first men's basketball game in the new Warriors arena, which was
Oh
really, really
wow.
cool. Yeah, and we got to go to like an Olympic club out there. And all those trips are really fun,
Mm-hmm.
with the team. We get along well. So I have a lot of good memories. Like we went to, I didn't play at Duke, but we went to Duke, against
Wow.
Zion
Yep.
and guys, and I was watching, all my best friends play against the best players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty cool to see. I guess personally, in terms of my own games, I would point out like maybe the Iona game
Mm-hmm.
and the Brown game. I both had really good games there, but I just remember going out there and I got real comfortable, and I probably felt my most comfortable in a
Mm-hmm.
Princeton jersey, just doing my thing, and I was being very efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't holding back anything, and so those are two of the memories that I remember really well.
Those are great. Those are great. And as you mentioned, yeah, you're just kind of effortless in that Iona game. And that's always nice early on in your career to have games like that, and to just kind of realize at the end of the day, you're on that new level, you're on that next level, but it's just basketball. You've been playing it your whole life. You've succeeded in it, throughout your entire career. So I know it's a transition for sure going from high school to college, but with the guys I've spoken with throughout the summer here, they always kind of say that same thing that once they, have a good game where they feel really confident, it just goes back to feeling like basketball, playing pickup games and stuff like that. So, definitely always kind of a good experience to have right there. And I know you mentioned kind of traveling around the country and stuff. How was that experience? I haven't really asked anyone this, I don't think, but just kind of traveling around, seeing, different places, different arenas, different teams. I mean, how's that experience kind of been for you, getting the chance to just go around the country and, kind of visit all these different places?
I love it. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
love all the trips we go on, and we get to go to some really cool places, meet with some really cool people.
Mm-hmm.
We go from Cali to Indiana, all over the place, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's such a blessing to be able to go all over the place and
Mm-hmm.
see all these cool places, and to do it with the guys you care about the most. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So we're very grateful for those opportunities, and I think we take full advantage of them.
Mm-hmm.
Always have a positive outlook, and just really excited to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's hard to be away from school all the time, but I'd say it's definitely worth it. Those road trips, you always got the best road trips coming home after a win.
Hmm.
So look forward to.
Exactly. And what would you say has been the best place that you've been? I mean, has there been any like cities or towns, schools that have really stuck out to you?
Best place. I'd probably go with San Francisco. I mean, we
Yeah.
played USF in the new arena.
Hmm.
I think we visited Alcatraz. We were out there for a while. We were out there for like 4 days, I think.
Oh wow, that's a long trip right
Yeah,
there.
got to really like be out there and enjoy it, which was really cool.
Hmm.
And San Francisco is a pretty cool city to be a tourist in. So that's probably my favorite memory. We got to go to like an Olympic club too, which was really cool.
That's
Eat some
great.
really good food, and yeah, that was one of my best memories from this year.
Yeah, always nice to kind of get out to the West Coast. Especially with the weather. I know on the
Weather
East,
too, yeah.
yeah, I know on the East Coast we don't have the best weather that there is. So usually out in California you'll get more sunny days than not. And at least if it's not sunny, it'll always be warm. So I know that's the big thing right there. But to kind of wrap up here, I always like to end on one fun question and then one question you might not have thought about. So my first fun question for you here. I know you're from Massachusetts. We're based out of Massachusetts. We're out in Worcester, so about an hour outside of Boston. But if you had to pick your favorite thing about Massachusetts and then your favorite thing about New Jersey, where you're at now for Princeton here, what would those two things be?
My favorite thing about Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, that's a hard one.
I know there's so many great things. We had to give the hometown shout out in here. We had to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could get it down to one, but let me think. I guess one thing I could say is like the seafood. I mean, I love
Mm-hmm.
seafood. They got great food in Boston.
Yep.
I mean, I love the city of Boston itself,
Mm-hmm.
and just being in the city. And then I mean, everyone is always playing basketball in Boston.
Yep.
Like people, all the boroughs of Boston got a bunch of courts and parks, and there's great energy at all the courts and stuff. And so I'd say that's one of my favorite things about
Mm-hmm.
them too.
It's great.
And then Princeton. Let me think. To be honest with you, I haven't been that exposed to a lot of New Jersey. I'm kind of stuck in Princeton for most of the
Mm-hmm.
year. But I mean, I love Wawa.
There you go.
That's one of my things. Yeah, I guess I'll go with that. I mean, I love the people in Princeton too,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
It's a
But I
pretty.
mean, I feel like they're relatively similar.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I
I'm
think it's
similar,
pretty.
yeah, similar kind of states.
Yeah, I
You
think for
disagree?
sure. No, I think you're definitely right. I've been to New Jersey a couple times, or at least I've driven through. I think we got some family
Yeah.
friends out in New Jersey. I know New York, we definitely got some family friends. So I've been down there, and upstate New York as well. But yeah, New Jersey we've driven through a couple times. I know a couple kids from New Jersey, that I go to school with right now, and they're not all too different. The only thing, I don't know if you can relate with this, is with the New York sports teams. They just go on and on and on about it, and I can't do that. That's the only thing right there. The love for New York sports
That's
team.
one thing I forgot. Boston sports. I mean, the past 20 years since I've been on this earth, man,
Yeah.
we've been lucky.
Oh
We've
my
got
God,
lots
I
of
hear you.
championships.
I hear you. I mean that.
I guess that's probably my thing then.
Yeah, I
The
mean that.
Celtics, the
Oh
Bruins,
yeah,
Red Sox, Patriots. I mean, what more could you ask for?
you cannot go wrong with that right there. I mean, I go to school out of Marquette right now, and I make sure that people know where I'm from. I mean, I'm talking about Boston
Hmm.
sports teams every single day. So every time the Celtics go out there to play the Bucks, things get chippy to say the least. But it's definitely been great.
Hmm.
And, I mean, yeah, Boston sports teams, you can't go wrong with it, and you gotta hold it down there in New Jersey. I mean, it's you against New York sports fans down there for the most part. I feel like so.
I mean, we got their number, but they'll give me some lip for sure.
Oh yeah, they're gonna give you lip. They're always gonna give you lip. I mean, they got to, and that's just the New York, New Jersey way. Um, but but right now you got the advantage for sure. Past 20 years, you got that held down easily. I'd say very easily. So to close up here, I mean, this is kind of the $1 million question. let's look like, we'll say 5 to 7 years down the road. If you could kind of craft up the perfect situation for yourself, what would kind of be the, ideal place that you'd be in the year 2025, 2027, in that kind of time range? Where would you like to see yourself? What would you like to be doing? If you could just kind of, as I said, craft that ideal situation.
Man, that's a good question. I mean, I haven't put too much thought to it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna try and stick with this basketball thing for as long as I can. I guess I
For
feel like
sure.
I owe it to myself to reach the highest level that's possible. So I guess playing professionally somewhere maybe in Europe
Mm-hmm.
would be really really cool. I think that would be a lot of fun. It'd be a test for myself, see how far I can get and what I can
Mm-hmm.
do. And one of the biggest reasons I went to Princeton is so that if I want to chase my dreams of playing professional basketball overseas, I can come back and still have this degree and hopefully
Mm-hmm.
have some good options back home. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess 3 years down the road, that's what ideally I'd like to be in, playing some basketball still professionally somewhere.
For sure. I mean, you're off to a great start here, certainly on the right path. So, first of all, I want to congratulate you, on a great first couple years at Princeton, and then,
Thank
wishing
you.
you nothing but the best for this upcoming season and beyond here. Definitely looking forward to kind of following your career. And I mean, Ethan Wright, thanks so much for joining us here on the site today. Great to have you on, some local talent from here in Massachusetts. So, great speaking with you, man, and wishing you nothing but the best.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. We'd always love to have you on again. We'll put your Twitter right down below so everyone can go follow your career here at Princeton and beyond. And we'll also put a link to Princeton's basketball website so you guys can follow for news and updates on the team for this upcoming season and beyond as well. But guys, thanks so much for joining us here on Ed Sports Network today. Another interview in our summer series. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, we'll see you guys next time.